Born in India in the 18th century, Param Sant Tulsi Sahib showed very early interest in spiritual life. Rather than accept a position of royalty in his family, he departed from home in pursuit of meditation practice and became fully realized soon after. In poetry and other writings, Param Sant Tulsi Sahib described the brilliance and penetrating wisdom of the inner life. At the same time, he emphasized that a living master is necessary to access this direct connection with the kingdom of God. In an expression of gratitude to his own master, Tulsi Sahib said, "O Tulsi, the kind and merciful master has blessed me and made my life blossom. He has given me a new life." In writing about spiritual upliftment, Param Sant Tulsi Sahib recounted his own experience of the inner heavenly light and sound. Moreover, he said that all saints' teachings shared the same path to the divine within, along with instructions on how to attain it. Param Sant Tulsi Sahib thus declared that the teachings he conveyed were in unity with those of Kabir Sahib Ji, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Datu Dayal Ji, and other saints. We will now share with you selections of mystic verses of Tulsi Sahib, vegetarian, saint of Hathras. Satsang, sacred gathering with a realized master. This is an excerpt from Ratan Sagar in the form of a dialogue. Hriday, a disciple raises certain questions concerning satsang, namely, what are the benefits of satsang? Why do some people not derive any advantage from the company of saints? What are the obstacles that come in the way of acquiring true knowledge? Tulsi Sahib elaborately answers all these questions using various similes and metaphors. Hriday, O Master, people attended many satsang, but some say they gained no benefit. Countless days did they spend in the company of saints, never did they see the Lord with their own eyes. Much praise have you showered on satsang, but it brought no advantage to them. This has aroused doubts in my mind. Pray, help me to be rid of them. O Master, what did they lack? Why did they not understand? How did they not recognize the jewel of knowledge? Tulsi Sahib, listen, O brother, I shall try to explain the truth to you. The soul left her home on the day of creation. Birth after birth, she gathered the rust of karmas. As rust eats into iron, as worms eat into wood, as a sharp sword becomes blunt through corrosion, as hail gets lost in water, so has the soul lost its luster. The terrible law of karma is formidable. The mind rides the soul. Servile to the senses, the mind roams recklessly. Mind and soul have been firmly knotted together. The unclean mind has lost discernment and understanding. Tell me, how can it ever know what satsang is? He who is illiterate and ignorant and tries to read a book, what effect can its meaning have when he knows not the alphabet? It is thus that they remain in the company of saints. They keep their minds engrossed in food and greed. So long as their minds relish such pleasures, they continue to remain in the association of saints. Never do they understand the saints' way and technique. How then can they ever hope to perceive the truth? Who eat to their heart's fill, who sleep for long hours, who indulge in idle gossip, who control not the wayward mind. Their minds, from countless births, are like tangled yarns. Who can ever disentangle such twisted yarn? Such a one should work hard or surrender to the master. Either he should do spiritual practice or seek his master's shelter. If he does neither, he wanders without a purpose. Fickle of mind and speech, how can he achieve his aim? Were he to enkindle within the love of his master's feet, he would gain true benefit from his mentor. He who begs from the saints with sincerity of heart receives their compassion and is redeemed. To recognize saints is not an easy task. He deals with them through cunning and deceit. One who tries to know them from their actions will fail to know them even if he spends many lifetimes. Their ways and methods are inscrutable and deep. How can a naive observer know their greatness? The Vedas describe them, not this, not this. Even the prophets cannot unravel their mystery. The three gods, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, cannot know their stature. From external signs you cannot assess them. Whosoever claims to know what saints are, Tulsi, in consternation, puts his hands to his ears. Rare are the noble and benign of good fortune, whose attention is fixed on the feet of the saints. They can truly judge these lovers of the beyond, who take the world and its forms to be illusory. There are men who live at the level of beasts. What can these slaves of Satan know of saints? Oride, I cannot tell how crooked such people are. Were I to attempt to describe their evil doings, there would not be enough paper and ink. Never aware of their true selves, they ever remain in delusion. They waste their lives in base pursuits and return empty-handed. Oride, they lived not truly in the company of saints. They plunged not deep and drank not its nectar. When water is poured over a stone, its wetness quickly dries. Since no moisture penetrates it, what can it do except remain dry? When sugar is put into water, it dissolves and gives sweetness. The two become one, and water becomes sweet in the company of sugar. The sweetness gets absorbed, O brother, and water turns into syrup. No one calls it water or sugar any longer. It has now acquired the name of syrup. Likewise, one who gets absorbed in satsang shall not have to suffer from delusion. The following poem brings out the same thought. Worldly people, scholars, pandits, and ritualists all extol the value of satsang and call their respective gatherings satsang. But satsang is association with the true, with enlightened and realized souls. It is the company of a perfect master. Tulsi Sahib says that even in the company of saints, worldly people fail to gain true benefit, for their attention is fully turned towards the world, its objects and pleasures. Satsang, satsang, say all, the scholar, the ritualist, and the world at large. The scholar, the ritualist, and indeed the whole world know not its true significance. To whom shall we speak of it, engulfed as they are in the gratification of sensual pleasures? How can they ever partake of true satsang? Son and wife are but a dream, an empty show. They keep you company for a while, as a kite whose colors fade. For the sake of your palate, O Tulsi, you took not the shelter of your master. Though satsang, satsang, say all, the scholar, the ritualist, and the world at large. The Master's Philanthropy. Tulsi Sahib enumerates here the gifts that the Master bestows on his disciple. Not only does he guide the disciple in his daily conduct, he also gives him inestimable help in the spiritual journey within. Oh, think thou deeply and deliberate. Without the guidance of a master, the way cannot ever be found. He will dye thee in satsang's color, take thy soul to regions celestial, and reveal the firmament within. If thou desirest to revel in realms spiritual within thine own self, none will help thee except the saints. In a short moment wilt thou depart, and thy body be reduced to dust. Thy master alone, O Tulsi, will show the entrance back to thy home. We thank you, kind viewers, for your presence today on Words of Wisdom.